Aloha everybody, how's it going? This is Tommy Lee here. I just want to welcome everybody back. Today is day 2 on our 21 days to 2021, and I want to send a warm aloha to every single one of you guys. Hope you're being safe out there, and much mahalos. Thank you very much for tuning in yesterday and all the wonderful comments, and we're gonna get this thing rolling. I promise today is gonna be a super short video, and I decided to talk about a topic that's really made a huge impact upon my life, and that's really having an attitude of gratitude. And a lot of people, when it comes to learning something new or getting a focus on something, they don't look it up in the dictionary. So here it is. You know, gratitude is basically the quality of being thankful, you know, having a readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. So it's really about, it's about kindness and being thankful, you know, and it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving to be appreciative of those around you and everything that is going for you and maybe not going so good for you. You know, some people have the attitude of, you know, everything's wrong right now, Tommy. My business is destroyed, or I lost my job, or my boss is a fill in the blank, and my relationships or my spouse or somebody is just being a complete satanic type person, and we all hear that kind of stuff, and bad things happen every day. But really, that's just a victim kind of a perspective, a victim mindset, if you will. You know, a lot of times we just got to be aware of perspective. You know, I mean, we live in America, guys. It's like the greatest country on the planet. You know, most of us here have a roof over our head. You know, you've got clothes on your back, you've got food in your stomach. You know, I had an opportunity to travel to a lot of third world countries and places like Dominican Republic and Mexico and Philippines. And you know, when we were in the Philippines, you know, I remember distinctly driving through some areas where everyone is living on tatang roof houses, and we passed something that kind of looks like the Aloha Canal, but 1,000 times more polluted. I don't know, just imagine the most polluted stream you've ever seen in your whole life, with tires in it and poles sticking out. And I rolled down the window to take a picture, and everyone in the car got mad at me because they're like, "Oh my God, it stinks, Tommy, I'm gonna throw up." And just then I saw a little 4-year-old girl, and the water was actually coming out of the sidewalk in this pipe, and she was like half naked, 4 years old, all dirty, and drinking the water that just the smell of that area made us want to you know, cover your nose. And so I told the driver, I'm like, "Dude, pull over, I'm gonna give her 20 bucks, which is a lot of money in Philippines. And he says, "Are you crazy?" And our driver Roger's like, "You're not gonna do that." And I'm saying, "What? No, I'm serious." Like, and he says, "No, if you give her $20, Tommy, she can't spend it. The very first place she goes, somebody's gonna punch her in the face and take the money." And that's how it is. I mean, guys, it's the reality. You know, imagine if you're born in Bangladesh, where the average person makes $500 a year. Doesn't matter if you have a college degree, doesn't matter if you're a borderline genius, that you're just born into a class system. So, you know, it's really, really important to understand and have that attitude of appreciative, you know. Mr. Jim Rohn, one of America's foremost business philosophers, and this guy is just wisdom. You'll hear me talk about him a lot. He says, "I used to complain about not having any shoes until I met a man with no feet." And I took that to heart. You know, guys, 6 years ago, some of you guys know, I fell off a roof to my own stupidity, and I shattered my spine and both of my ankles. And the doctors walked into the ICU room after my CAT scan, my MRI, whatever, and they said, "Hey, Mr. Lee, it looks like, hey, you're probably gonna walk again, maybe in like 2 to 5 years." I'm like, "What?" And I was just like, "Oh my God, that's gonna suck. Like, how's my life gonna be?" And I was in all of this pain and had to go through $185,000 worth of surgery, and I couldn't work, and I was looking at all these things. But I was very lucky to have the personal development that, dude, at least I'm not paralyzed, and you know, I've got a lot to live for. And when I went to the rehab, yeah, I was in a lot of pain. But you know what? When I went there, I saw people that are quadriplegics and paraplegics and wheelchairs, and people who are stroke victims and they couldn't move half of their body. And you know, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna get my rehab done. So it's really an attitude, guys. So if you could write this down, if you're taking notes, you've got to be happy with what you have in pursuit of what you want. And one way to have a lot of gratitude is give more. And, you know, one of my dear friends, in Texas. His name is Mitchell Fromm. He's a super successful entrepreneur and CEO of his own company. He's very well to do. And one day we were at a big event and he says, "Hey Tommy, do you give to give? Do you give to get? Do you get to give?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Do you give to give? Do you give to get? Do you get to give?" I'm like, "What?" He says, "Well, when it comes to giving, do you give to give? You know, I mean, if I do something for somebody, and if from here on out, guys, if you do something for somebody, you should expect nothing back in return. Not even a thank you, okay? It's nice to get a thank you and all that, but guys, that's not necessary. That's not why you give. You give and you just send it out there, okay? And you give from the heart. Some people, they give, but they're trying to get. Right? So they give to get. They're expecting something back in return. If I do this favor for you, then you owe me a favor next time, guys. And that's giving with intention. Your intentions are all wrong. And some people, they give and they never get back. So after a while, they become very jaded and they're like, "I'm not doing nothing for no one except myself, you know, until I get, and then I'll give. You do for me, I do for you." And which comes the saying, do you give to give? Do you give to get? Or do you get to give? And I took that to heart that day. I've applied it to my life and it's made a world of difference. And it doesn't have to be money. You know, it's free to give a compliment. It's free to help somebody, cross the street, or it's free to give your time, your undivided attention, not like, yeah, and as you're staring at your cell phone over the lunch table with your coworkers. When's the last time you actually gave your undivided attention where that person is the most important person in the whole world? Now, a lot of times you do that for your children or your loved one, but guys, try doing it for somebody you don't even know, or try doing it for somebody that maybe looks like everything's okay, but really just have a heart-to-heart with them and say, "Hey, I really want to know how you're doing. How's this so-called life of ours going for you? And is there any way that I could pour into you?" And sometimes personal attention and time is the best gift that you could possibly give, because it is our most valuable asset. And so back to being grateful, you know, what are you thankful for? It's probably a very good idea every morning when you wake up to just go spend the first few minutes out of your day going down some of what you're thankful for, maybe even before you go to sleep at night, is to remind yourself all the things that you should be really thankful for, and having an attitude of gratitude, and knowing as you go throughout your day, are you a giver or are you a taker? Now, there's sometimes we give and there's sometimes that we take. You know, we're just humans, and that's how we get along together. And that's what every family does and group of friends does, and hopefully we're given more than we're taking, right? And sometimes it's energy. You know, a lot of people are in a party or in a room and you say, "Well, I'm neutral. I don't give and I don't take." That's wrong. I mean, there's no such thing as the line. I mean, even if we were all sitting here in a room and you're in a corner doing nothing, you're breathing oxygen, you're taking, okay? You're either pouring in or you're taking out, guys. If we were all sitting in a canoe, either you're helping to move the boat forward or you're kind of sitting there and getting a free ride. And not one or the other. There's times we all need help, and there's times we need to accept, and there's times you need to give. But I'm just telling you guys, wherever you go throughout your day, really be mindful of and focus in giving more than you can, going over the top, and I promise everything is going to change for you. In other words, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? Okay, some people just complain and criticize all day. They always got two cents of negative of why this won't work, you won't work, you're no good. And you're like, "It's a beautiful day today." Yeah, but you could get sunburned. I mean, they're just negative, toxic people, guys. And there's some people that compliment and they're positive and they contribute all the time and they're looking to solve a problem, okay? So be mindful of what you are, okay? And I promise you guys that's gonna make a big difference too. So having an attitude of gratitude, probably the biggest, most important thing is that it's gonna make you an attractive person. You know, I'd like to think so, maybe, I don't know, but you know, a lot of the friends that I hang around, if you ever talk to them and then you're just gonna say, "Hey, Tommy is just a positive guy. He's always smiling, he's always joking around, he's always cooking amazing food for every single person around him." And I've done it at, you know, hotels and sitting by the poolside, and you know, we've got a bunch of you know, amazing in Hawaii what we call poke, which is like chopped up fish and seafood and things that are marinated and seasoned, and we had coolers full of cold drinks. And I saw a Japanese family come in, and then they had parents and little kids and one grandma, and they all ditched her, like literally next to our cabana area, and she's sitting there by herself. So I made her a plate of Hawaiian style poke, and I got a cold guava juice, and I walked up to her. I'm like, here, try this. Obviously this is before COVID time, if not somebody would have punched me in the face. But hey, she was shocked, like, oh no, I didn't order this. I'm like, no, you know, like, please have it. And she was just dumbfounded that a stranger would come up. Of course she was mind blown, because it was some of the best poke we have here in Hawaii. And to me, I didn't want to thank you. I didn't want anything in return. I just wanted to give her an experience that probably wouldn't happen on an everyday basis. And I guarantee you, she went back to Japan, and when her family came back, she's like, you're not going to believe this. This young boy, I like to add that in, came and gave me a plate of the most unbelievable seafood I've ever had in my life. And it's like, you know, he had a drink and a guava juice, and I don't even know this guy. And that story is going to spread around the world. And I live for that, of trying to give out there into the world. And it's just a small thing, guys, but I promise you it made a world of difference on her vacation and time here in Hawaii. So ask yourself, how do people feel when they're around you, right? And it affects every aspect of your life, even your health, because, you know, there's some people that are victim mentality, and they're hateful and pessimistic and bitter about this and that and coronavirus this, and you can see it on them, and what it's doing physically. They're literally creating more acid and more toxins and bile in their body. And we all know that cancer and disease can't exist in an alkaline environment, but when you're acidic and just toxic, guys, I'm telling you, it's inviting for disease. So it's really going to affect your health and your mental health as well. So just be thankful for everything that happens, both good and bad. Not expecting bad to happen is just ridiculous, guys. Life is ups and downs. You know, if the story of your life in chapter 1 was everything's fine, and chapter 2 everything's great, and chapter 3 everything's good, and chapter 4 everything is same, and chapter 5 it's good, guys, life would be boring. And if you didn't have those rainy days and thunderstorms, then the victories and the championships and the wins are not going to be exciting. So if you have an attitude of gratitude and you apply it all throughout your life, when we hit the very end of your life, you're going to look back and agree that having an attitude of gratitude enhanced all of your wins and the ups and your triumphs. And having an attitude of gratitude really lightened up and minimized all of the defeats and disappointments. So I hope that this little talk on gratitude and having an attitude of gratitude is going to have a very profound impact upon you and your friendships and your relationships and everywhere you go, guys. In Hawaii, we call it spread the aloha. You know, I mean, there's just no such thing as strangers to me, just friends I haven't met yet. And I've applied this to everything I do. And maybe that's why we've got to hang out with so many different celebrities and professional athletes and super achievers and affluent people and not just, you know, successful and famous people and movie stars and these types of people, but we've also got to make a big impact on people who are everyday life, you know, and for them, or maybe even people who are less unfortunate, and for them it made all the difference in the world. And I promise that's going to make you feel good. Even if you have nothing, you have plenty to give, and that's the #1 way to attract bigger and better things and greater blessings that are going to be coming your way. So doesn't hurt to ask for God's help. You know, service to many leads to greatness, Jesus said in the Bible. And I promise you guys, if you just walk out there today and do something for someone, maybe give somebody an actual phone call instead of a text message or a meme, and see how they're doing, I promise you guys it's going to go a long way. So I hope that this view is making you feel warm and fuzzy, and I hope this message makes you feel even more warm and fuzzy. I'll see you guys tomorrow on day 3 with another cool topic, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care, be safe everyone. Aloha. Mahalos.